Jared Franek. I'm from Harwood, North Dakota. I picked NDSU because, I mean, it's close to home was one of the biggest things.
I don't have the biggest facilities or the best partners in the whole country, but knowing I'm in my home state, this is my home.
I thought what better way to continue on to wrestling and let those guys be close to home and watching me.
We're real fortunate that we're in the same town. You know, you see that you had something special there, and it was nice to be able to have that right here in your backyard.
Always saw each other at the big tournaments. One of the main guys that was like kind of the face of like ND high school wrestling.
Wearing the blue singlet of Team North Dakota, Jared Franek.
You knew he was going to be a big part of this program one day. You knew he was going to lead it. He was going to have some real success.
He was always just focused, you know, wasn't much of a talker. He's a guy that shows up and just does the work, and you could tell this guy was trying to go somewhere.
My goals from the start have always been to be a national champ. I'm climbing my way towards that, and a step in the direction is obviously being an All-American on the podium. Haven't reached that yet, but it's always been a very, very high goal of mine, and I'm not looking anything shorter than that.
Jared wants one thing, that's to be an All-American or national champion, because he's a real contender this year.
It's extremely hard to be an All-American. 300-something athletes that are there. Only 80 get to be All-American.
To be an All-American is the highest achievement for college wrestling.
I know a lot of sports have first team, second team, honorable mention. There's really none of that for wrestling. It's just the top 8 leave with a medal and the rest leave with nothing.
Something that only the best guys can do, and you really have to be on top of your game when you go to the tournament.
What really matters, and I think what Jared understands too, is what happens in March.
We welcome you to St. Louis, the setting, the battleground for the quarterfinal round of the NCAA Wrestling Championships.
I was the 8th seed that year. He was the number 1 seed in the quarterfinals. Wrestled a great match. I guess I was just kind of free-flowing wrestling, and yeah, I wrestled really well. Was really close to getting another takedown that would have built my lead a little bit, but yeah, I think I was up a point, and he ended up taking me down with 7 seconds left or something like that.
Being able to reflect on a match like a Ryan Deacon where he's seconds away and just a little mental breakdown cost him.
Just like any loss, it stinks. No one wants to lose. No one wants to see their teammates lose, especially when Jared's losses, they've just been so close. I think they'll sting more.
You know, you see that every once in a while, and you know, it feels pretty defeating that you know, you almost had it.
The blood round is one of the most exciting parts of sport. If you win that match in the blood round, you're an All-American. You're going to finish top 8 in the country. Huge achievement. If you lose, see you next year.
And you just really have to be on that day and have a little bit of luck on your side, and hopefully it ends in your favor.
The blood round is everything because it checks off the box. I'm an All-American. I did it.
Yeah, it came down to one takedown really was the match. He ended up getting it towards the end of the 3rd period. Just not being able to capitalize on my shots was the biggest thing in that match, and he took one and he capitalized on it, and it cost me the match. Obviously it was kind of crushing that first year. I never felt anything like that. Yeah, and then coming that close, being, you know, seconds away, and came away with nothing.
It's been hard to watch, because you know when someone's capable of something, you want them to achieve that, and for them to fall short it's hard.
The guys that have stood in his way are elite guys, you know, but he's an elite guy too.
We welcome you inside Little Caesars Arena, downtown Detroit, for one of the more coveted days of the wrestling calendar. The temperature goes up a couple of notches today because the vision of becoming an All-American is a little more real.
Yeah, I had David Carr again. Yeah, he was a national champ the year before, and he was the number 1 seed that year as well. So seeing him in the blood round was kind of a shock to everybody. Well, he's like my arch nemesis in the sport. Yeah, he's like half of my college losses at this point. Going into that match, I knew it was going to be tough. I hadn't beat him yet, but I wrestled really well, was leading most of the match, I guess 2nd period on, and he ended up getting a takedown at the end and riding me out to finish that match. I was obviously really frustrated again after that. I mean, I had the chance to win. It was in my hands, and he ended up taking me down. That guy's one of the best in college right now, by far, and being that close with him and knowing that I can compete at that level was big for me.
Tough matches, Deke and Carr, guys that are at the very top of wrestling, and you know, he's right there with them.
I mean, Jared's just had a couple, you know, bad draws here or there, and you know, just little mistakes. But other than that, like he's always wrestled a really good tournament.
The NCAA tournament, you could run that tournament with the same bracket 50 different times. You might get 50 different outcomes.
He's wrestled in 2 championships so far, and each time he's wrestled in the championship, he's lost to the #1 seed. And both times that he's lost to the #1 seed, he was winning with maybe seconds left on the clock, and which is something we've worked quite a bit on this year. And I think even though it hasn't gone his way, but the fact that he knows he's right there, that he can beat the best of the best, is something that keeps him motivated year after year.
I mean, I'm sure Jared's pretty hard on himself when he loses. Like, that's part of why he's so good and the way he is. He's going to be adapting to his mistakes, and I'm sure he already thought those matches 1,000 times more than the coach or anyone else.
Through some of those adversities, it's more of a, for a guy specifically like a Jared, it's more of a tactical piece. It's, here we are in this situation, how would you approach it from a tactical side? He has to kind of come back and reflect and go, what would I do different tactically in these moments or in these positions?
Just my defense, last seconds, last minutes of matches. We work it a lot now in the room, but you gotta be able to stop a guy from scoring on you with 30 seconds left. You know, every match is a learning opportunity, and you constantly work on positions that kind of cost you in the past. And luckily I have good partners that can give me that feel.
He's the whole reason why I came here. Like, I knew I was gonna have a great practice partner in him, and it's definitely cool to say that you know, my practice partner is, I wrestle with a guy who's ranked #2 in the nation every single day. I like to say I contribute to a lot of his success. We wrestle in the room like we go to war. We compete good with each other, so he's definitely gotten better at just wrestling a smarter game and focusing on his strengths.
Mikey's proven himself this year, and if people don't know who he is yet, they will in March. So getting able to wrestle with him every day and just have good partners around my weight definitely pushes me.
It's just one of those things where you find a sense of pride and a sense of motivation to not feel that stabbing pain, and let's prepare for a different feeling this time, because we know what it feels like to lose in a round of 12.
He's competed with the most elite guys in the country at his weight. He knows he's there. He knows he's there, and it was just, he needed that breakthrough match to really get him to believe. And then you fast forward to this year, and he's found those breakthrough matches.
One of those special kind of seasons that we haven't really seen in Division I North Dakota State wrestling.
Jared Franek is like the kind of silent assassin here who has just had an incredible year.
Jared Franek from North Dakota State enters this year with even more attention. He was the top seed in the Big 12 meet and did not lose en route to that Big 12 title.
Jared Franek, the Big 12 champion, 22-1 for the season.
I always thought from freshman year that he was capable of anything and everything at this level, and to see him there isn't like it's not like a shock to me. Jared is very much someone who, I mean, I feel deserves to be where he's at right now. So he's worked for it.
This year I've had a certain level of confidence that I've never had that I think has won me a lot of matches and kept me poised and calm in big moments.
The moment he walked off the mat against David Carr in 2022, he walked off, and his goal since he left that mat was, I'm going to win a title next year. You know, his goal is to win it all, and I don't think anyone could tell him any different.
I mean, Jared can win it. He's going to win national championship this year. You know, I got so much confidence in him. You know, wrestling with him every day, I just see how good he is.
Jared can win the whole tournament this year. I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited to be a part of that, to help cheer him on to achieve those goals.
I've been around guys that have won it, and he has what it takes, all the physical skills as well as the character skills necessary to be a champion.
Obviously, it's been a goal of mine since I was super little. I'm shooting for that top step, so that's the only one that really satisfied me at this point.